very special guest with the next hour. Gina Mitchell, formerly from the Sunshine Coast. She's a best-selling author, life coach. Her expertise is on menopause. So ladies, particularly if you're 40 and over, this is especially for you. More of that coming up real soon. My very special guest is a best-selling author, life coach and menopause expert, Gina Mitchell, especially for International Women's Day. Music on the way from Rudimental featuring James Arthur just after the news, but this is coming up from John Farnham. James Arthur, DD with you on a Wednesday morning for International Women's Day. And my very special guest coming up a little later this hour is life coach, best-selling author and menopause expert, Gina Mitchell. And we're going to find out about her life experience and how you can benefit as well, ladies, particularly if you're over 40 years. Plenty of good music to come too, like this from Mike Oldfield and Maggie Riley. You know, all about with best-selling author Gina Mitchell. She's been on the coast recently, and in a mark for International Women's Day today, in her role as a menopause expert, we're going to find out her story and particularly ladies of a certain age, how that can benefit you too. Those details coming up soon. Salt 106.5. I have with me today Gina Mitchell, best-selling author, menopause expert and life coach. Happy International Women's Day, Gina.
And happy International Women's Day to you too, Steve. It's a very, very important day.
It is indeed, but you've got a very special message for our women, particularly those, I guess, later in life. It's something that you've had some really, I guess, difficult experiences with. Would you mind sharing with us now the sorts of emotional ups and downs and journeys with your life and work experience that has, I guess, really turned your life upside down?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I actually come from a science and teaching background, and I was a teacher for 30 years after working in science for a few years after I graduated. And I mean, I love teaching, but you know yourself, Steve, having been a teacher yourself, it really is a very, very stressful profession, even though we've got those lovely holidays. During the term, we're pretty stressed out. And when it came for me to start going through menopause, even though I've got like a science background, I was a biology teacher, for heaven's sakes, menopause hit me like a ton of bricks. It was absolutely hideous. I had no idea. And the problem is that it's not really spoken about. You know, even when I was a young teacher and I was, going through and teaching with a lot of middle-aged women, nobody spoke about it. I didn't know. And it's just something that's not spoken about. And it's something that since I went through, and it was so challenging for me, that I needed to do something about it. It took me ages, years to find a solution for myself, because every woman is different, and it took me years to find it. But once I found it, I just thought, you know what, I really need to share this with other women. We can't have women going through this really, this challenging time on their own, feeling that they can't talk about it. And you know what, it's just not spoken about in conversation. Everyday conversation, and that's what I just want to scream it from the rooftops, because it's a really important time in women's lives, and 20% of women will have a really bad menopause, and I was one of them. Stress feeds into that really badly. It makes it so much worse. And, when you think about 20% of the world's population, of the women, so that's around about, I think I did the math before, it's something like 700,000, or no, maybe 700 million. Don't worry about me, I was a science teacher, not a math teacher. But it was something like 7 million women will go through this, now, at this point. And it's just a really big number. And, we something really needs to be done. And the people that need to do this are the women themselves. But often they don't know what's going on with them. So they don't know. They think they're going crazy. They've got all this emotion that's pent up. Our hormonal veil has lifted. It's that means the hormones are worn off completely, and there's we are programmed by our hormones so compellingly. You think about what happens when we go through puberty. We go crazy then, and then we're sort of programmed to have children and to nurture our families and all of that kind of thing until the end of that time, which is menopause for women and andropause in men. But I think women have a much worse time than men, actually. So
I'll agree with you there.
yeah. Yes.
As part of International Women's Day, my very special guest this morning is Gina Mitchell, best-selling author, menopause expert and life coach. More with Gina coming up in just a moment.
Salt 106.5.
That's where I am. I can't.
International Women's Day is menopause expert Gina Mitchell. And so where might women who are, say, over the age of 40, Gina, find themselves needing some help? What are they likely to experience?
A lot of women find themselves in this state where they've got all of these physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, and they don't know what's going on. They think they're going crazy. And a lot of women come to me crying and saying, I don't know what's going on with me. You know, and I say, I do. It's menopause, and I can help you. There is help out there, not just by me, but by so many other people. And so, anyway, my journey was that I had to give up my teaching career because it was just, I hadn't slept, I don't think, probably for 10 years before that. I just kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and I just couldn't function anymore. So of course, I was devastated, absolutely devastated when I had to give up teaching. You can ask my husband what I went through, what he went through with me. Yes, I cried for probably 2 years. I really think I cried because I lost my identity as a teacher and something that was really meaningful to me, and I couldn't do it anymore. I really hope that so many other women don't have to go through this or have as bad a menopause as I do, but I think what's really important is that we actually put the conversation on the table, and if women are suffering, they need to speak up. And even if they don't think those symptoms are due to menopause, they probably are, because it's not just the hot sweats and the stopping of the cycle. There's the depression, the anxiety, the sleeplessness, the aches and pains, the loss of sexual function and libido. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on that you can get help for. So I guess that's my main message. So number one, put it on the table. Number two, that there is help out there for those women that are actually really suffering.
Gina, you mentioned a number of the symptoms there. If you don't mind me asking, which of those impacted you the most, and how old were you when that started?
Oh, good question. Okay, I think I started going through perimenopause, which is the lead up to full menopause, around about the age of 46, 47, and I think to me it was like a loss of, the sleep started to be affected. To me, that was the biggie. And then, of course, comes with that, you can't think straight, you can't function straight, your memory goes and all of that kind of thing. But even if you are sleeping fairly well, you can still get those other symptoms. To me, I think the lack of sleep led into emotional turmoil. I'd cry at the drop of a hat. I didn't cry in class. I remember once I was crying when my year 10s walked in, and all the girls came up and gave me a big group hug, and they, "What's wrong, miss?" I said, "I'm just so tired. I can't sleep." And, if I'd known or if I'd thought about it at the time, I would have said, "This menopause sucks. Watch out, girls. Be prepared." But I didn't think about it at the time. But it was, I think for me it was the teariness, the crying. It was just a general depression. I just didn't think that my life was worth, living, and which is really sad, because I know that there is a statistic of women actually not, going through with suicide, which is so traumatic and so drastic and unnecessary when they're going through this stage. And when I heard that, I really get that, and therefore I need to help other women. I need to help other women through this. So I guess the main thing for me was, the sleeplessness, and then sort of then setting off all of the emotions that come with that, and a lot of negative emotions, a lot of old childhood wounds that have never been dealt with, because once your hormonal programming's worn off and that job's done, kind of thing, then your unconscious mind brings up all sorts of things for healing, like things that have been locked away in your unconscious mind for a long time, childhood memories and all of that kind of thing. And they're the kinds of things that I can help people with from a mindset point of view. Yes, but for me it was the insomnia and the erratic emotions, so to speak.
On International Women's Day today, my special guest is menopause expert Gina Mitchell. We'll continue the conversation in just a moment.
A fresh.
Hey, Sarah, Salt 106.5, almost 12 away from 12. my special guest, Gina Mitchell, menopause expert today for International Women's Day. I love the way you describe yourself in your email sign-on or signature. You're saying, and this is probably a really good byline for us all, feeling fantastic over 40, midlife mindset mentoring for women. Lots of alliterations there, which I absolutely love. So,
gee, thanks.
let's focus on treatment solutions for those women who are suspect that they might be entering menopause or may well be well into that journey, but aren't sure who to turn to. What's your advice?
Yeah, well, I like to have a multi-pronged approach, which means that every woman is different and every woman's going to need something different. But the way that I like to start is with mindset, and that basically we can clear up a whole lot of stuff, like we're locked oftentimes into negative patterns of thinking. It's like something's happening and what's wrong with me? I could be carrying something, all this kind of stuff. And what I help women do is to actually flip that and to actually, sort of let go of any of the old emotions, old negative thoughts, old patterns that they might be locked into, to help them flip what they're actually thinking about menopause. And then from there, I've got a whole network of people, of menopause doctors and nutritionists, personal trainers, psychologists, whatever women need as we go along our journey, as I coach them, I will actually, either find somebody or tap into my network to find whatever it is that women need. Nutritionists, did I mention nutritionists? Yes, I've got a whole bank of nutritionists there. They're all wonderful, all helping and specialising in menopause women. There's a lot more people out there now, thankfully, specialising in menopause, because it really is a really specific niche, that needs a lot of attention, and there's a big market for it out there. So there's a lot of help out there, and all people need to do is maybe do a bit of a Google search, reach out. There's lots of coaches out there. I, for one, I'm a menopause coach, menopause and midlife coach. So if you want somewhere to start, you can just Google me, Gina Mitchell, or you might come up with, there's lots of Gina Mitchells around. So I'll give you my website, which is midlifecoachingforwomen.com.au. And from there, just have a look at the website. There's a whole lot of information there, and you can even connect with me from there. And if I'm not the right person that people need, I've got so many people in my network that can help. So yeah, that's it, really. That's really the best way to reach out. But it's really important to reach out somewhere. Exactly, and even just paying a visit to your GP initially is probably a very good first step. It is a very good first step. What I would suggest, though, is find a specialist menopause GP. And if you go to there's a website, the Australasian Menopause Society, and they actually have a list of GPs that are specialised in menopause. There's a list of doctors all around Australia. So, and there should be one near everyone. I don't know how many there are on the coast. I haven't done that research. I normally live in Sydney. I'm only up here. I grew up on the coast, actually, and I'm visiting my family up here at the moment. I'm up here for a month. But I'm sure there are lots of menopause doctors here on the coast. Indeed. Gina Mitchell, well, thank you for visiting the Sunshine Coast and coming back to the coast and paying us a visit. My second home. And yes, a happy International Women's Day to you once more. And again, that website for more, midlifecoachingforwomen.com.au. Gina Mitchell, it's been an absolute privilege having a chat today. So thank you so much, Steve, for the opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity to get the message out there.
A fresh, full life. Salt 106.5.
At Suncoast.